players pushing the limits to win big under the bright Friday night lights. But one parent says her son was pushed over the limit and is now suing his former high school football coach and a dozen assistant coaches after he ended up in the hospital.
You remember being in high school and having to participate in PE? Now I'm talking about a time where you actually went outside and physically played a sport in the blistering heat. And they had team captains, where each team captain would take turns in drafting their player. And that crap sucked. Being the last one being picked, immediately deflating your confidence. And to make things even worse, you would have to take a shower before the next class. These showers were in an open bay, and if you're not hitting that average range, you are basically leaving that class with low self-esteem, slowly morphing into a beta male as the year goes on. Every time you go into the class, you're just leaving with no self-esteem. Anyways, dive into today's story of a high school football coach being in an era where the society is all about participation trophies.
Here's to show.
It is said that hard times create strong men, and strong men create good times, and good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Every generation has the previous generation shitting on them. It's kind of like an honor. Now I'm at the age where I get to shit on this current generation. Everyone knew that being part of any sports team, specifically football, requires a level of discipline, agility, a drive to be the best on the field, driven by an unwavering passion for playing the sport. They dedicate countless hours to mastering the sport, while finding joy in every single pass, every single tackle, and every single goal, while reaping the benefits of enhanced teamwork and leadership skills. Mental resilience, that was a thing back then, and they also had this deep sense of camaraderie and a purpose that fuels their determination to excel both on and off the field. And they go through all of this hell just to be able to go on the field and get hit. And I know if you don't play sports, you don't understand the low-key homoerotic relationship and connection that these boys have.
Little game of hide and seek. Count to 10 and come find me.
So imagine all of that love that I just described and picture every single great football movie you've ever seen. I'm talking about Remember the Titans, Any Given Sunday, Varsity Blues, Friday Night Lights, Rudy, the real movies. I'm talking about Last Boy Scout, the real true action movie. By the way, if you're a football fan, that's the movie to watch. And if you're a baseball fan, definitely watch The Fan with Robert De Niro.
What do you mean? Hey man, all my life I've been, working to be the best, Now
imagine watching those movies, or just any one of them, and you're sitting down with popcorn, you're just enjoying it, you're watching it, you're on the edge of your seat, and halfway through, all of a sudden, some guy comes in there, he's like, hey, coach, come here. You're being sued by all these players for being too tough on them.
Well, the lawyer representing the mother who sued a former Rockwall Heath High School coach says he settled previous civil lawsuits against the former coach. Assistant coaches were added to this latest lawsuit. It stems from a 2023 incident in which a workout sent some athletes to the hospital. Fox 4's David Santendry joins me live with an update. David.
Of course they would use a beta male reporter to tell this story. Look at him. Looking all frail and sickly.
Hey, Hannah, yeah, we've previously reported about these allegations surrounding the former head coach, but now for the first time, his assistant coaches are mentioned alongside of him in this lawsuit.
People, seriously, lay off the Ozempic. It's not healthy for you.
A parent of a Rockwall Heath High School student is suing her son's former football coach, John Harrell, and a dozen assistant coaches, claiming her son was hospitalized with injuries stemming from grueling workouts as a form of punishment, specifically nearly 400 push-ups in an hour with no rest or water break.
Seriously, 400 push-ups in an hour? In an hour. I'm about 2,000 weeks into my life, and I have approximately another 2,000 to 3,000 weeks left. I could do 400 push-ups in 30 minutes. And these are teenagers with a testosterone level I wish I didn't have to pay for. Think about that for a second.
Wrote the program that said any little infraction for all sorts of different reasons would result in these push-ups.
Attorney Mike Sawicki represents the mother filing the lawsuit.
26 students. And of course, is the mother suing. This is why it's important to have a masculine figure in your house. That way you won't deal with bullshit.
At least 26 players were diagnosed or had symptoms of rhabdomyolysis, a breakdown of muscle tissue that releases a damaging protein into the blood.
A condition that results from overexercise or overwork or overstress of the body. Untreated, it can cause kidney failure. It can cause more significant damage to the muscles. This is not, I stubbed my toe. This is not, I'm a little winded after running some sprints.
Tell that to David Goggins.
Just got to run a 120-mile week, 2,000 pull-ups, 4,000 push-ups, and hundreds of reps at the gym. Stay hard.
Can I just say the obvious right here, okay? If I was a betting man, which I am, I definitely bet. I would bet that all the students that are suing are probably white. Mark my words. Let's continue.
I stubbed my toe. This is not, I'm a little winded after running some sprints. This is a potentially long-term, life-affecting injury.
This is the worst.
Oh, damn it. Really, man? Listen, we're not that weak. We may drink the Kool-Aid on the race baiting stuff over and over and over, but we're not physically weak like this, okay? This has to be one of those blacks like Kaepernick, you know, like me. Privileged to live around the whites that we accost all the time for being white. Seriously, how do you think the whole white guilt started? I'm kidding. It was all thanks to Al Sharpton.
Now, brother, you have your time. That's a lot of brother. And I got it. Brother, I got it. I got it. Damn!
He pushed him so hard his fats detached from his body and went to heaven. Holy crap.
2023, Rockwall ISD placed Coach Harrell on administrative leave. The coach resigned 2 months later.
All right. Okay, he does kind of look like one of those jocks that peaked in high school and just needs to hold on to that for as long as he can.
According to the lawsuit, Rockwall ISD's athletic director warned coaches to not use physical exercise as a form of punishment, that it can lead to major legal issues and consequences.
Wait a second, so you can't punish them through physical exercise anymore? Deep inside, there's this LA wildfire just waiting to rage out and just start slapping people who are responsible for the participation trophies. I know they live in those $8 million houses.
Noah! Larry, what the hell are you doing?
Larry, you can't just... Oh, Larry! Oh, are you all right? How did...
The district hired a law firm to investigate the allegations, and it found the students' injuries were caused by the inappropriate workouts.
This isn't anything major in my opinion. In fact, had this been a predominantly black team, this would have just been another day on the field, another practice day, no big deal. You know what? Cut this. I need another perspective. Let's roll it.
Power trip or ignorance or just not giving a damn. It's unclear what John Harrell was thinking when he made 2 football players on the Rockwall Heath High School football team do 400 push-ups in less than an hour.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love that voice. That's that strong black man's voice. James Earl Jones type of voice. But he seems to be disturbed by the 400 push-ups. But let's be real, by the way he speaks, he'd never played sports. He strikes me as one of those academic achievers.
Child Protective Services also investigating. Let's bring in our guest, Dr. Donna Shaw-Lee from Arch Point Pain Institute and RSCSports.com founder Jim Hicks. So, Jim, what do we know about this coach so far?
Go tell them, Jim.
Well, John Harrell had been on the job at Rockwall Heath for about 3 years. This was his first season as a head coach, right there. And he was also a strength and conditioning coach, like the bodybuilding coach there. So you could see some of those, coaches like in that situation can be a little rougher and tougher in their
overly
workouts.
Aggressive.
Yeah. But it could be normal to him.
Right.
Being a bodybuilding coach. It's like you got to get you right. So
but let's talk about this, Jim. 400 push-ups in an hour.
Lay off with Jim a little bit. It's just, they're trying to like guilt trip him and taking a different stance. Just say it with your chest, man. Say it with your chest. The kids are a bunch of
Now, Dr. Ali, let's talk about, first of all, what we heard in the headlines, dark urine.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Damn it, man. It means you're dehydrated or your body's shutting down. You sound too educated to be this stupid.
So what happens is, and we're going to talk about rhabdomyolysis, which is a breakdown of your enzymes and proteins as it relates to muscle.
Much later.
And causing some of the kidney injuries.
And what could happen if you're doing, as he said, in succession, 400 push-ups, like right behind each other? What could that do to the heart? What it does is that it breaks down all these enzymes and proteins in your
2,000 years later.
That's when it goes into trouble, and that's when we
Could it lead to cardiac arrest for the wrong?
Okay. According to this article that I have here, sudden cardiac arrest in young athletes is rare and hard to predict. Roughly 1 in 50,000 athletes will die each year of sudden cardiac arrest, says Dr. Mohammed Aftab, a heart surgeon at UC Health University of Colorado Hospital. It is the leading cause to exercise-related death in young competitive athletes, accounting for 75% of fatalities during sports or exercises. I mean, 1 in 50,000? Yeah, I mean, that's not really that bad, right? I mean, you have about a 2% chance to make it into any of the major league sports. I mean, it's kind of worth it, right?
If you raise up the rug, the floor mat, look up under the bottom, these stuff is treading right along racial lines.
All right, now we're getting into the good stuff. Let's go.
What does that mean, though? I don't quite follow you there when it comes to race.
Well, here's the deal. I'm gonna toss a question to Dr. Ali. Let's say, what if these kids, the majority of these kids who was hospitalized, what if they were of color? What if they were black and had the sickle cell trait? What would happen, Doc?
So we know, as folks who have other comorbidities such as sickle cell, as you talked about, and other medical comorbidities, that there are at higher risk for muscle breakdown and kidney injury and heart injury. We don't know in these specific kids and these specific patients that they had that per se, but if they're African American, we know that they're at a higher risk for sickle cell trait and other medical comorbidities that may lead them to further breakdown of enzymes.
Pretty interesting. So if that's true, now we need to address the issues, because African Americans represent more than half of the players in the NFL, and 36% of the coaches are also black. And we should, as a nation, be aware of this.
I'm still waiting on you to make that point.
Well, and that's
Just say it. Say what you want to say.
Say it with your chest, little ass nigga.
I mean, hell, a lot of those kids that were hospitalized were of color, and it's possible. It's possible they could have had possessed the sickle cell trait. And if that's the case, Isaiah, in 2016, there was a case in the University of Oregon. A young man named Doug Brenner.
Out of time, but I got your point. All right.
Damn, Isaiah, man, you just cut him off just like that. You just done that man wrong. He was getting into like a serious topic there. See, we can't have these type of conversation because it would put too many people's livelihoods on the line. Chopping block, it would happen. Plus, we got to keep acting like us black people can only get up out of the hood if we play sports or rap. So don't go down that path of discussing CTE or sickle cell and all the other BS. Nah, it's about being too hard on children. And if you get too deep, I'll just cut you off. I'm sorry, let's just roll that back one more time. I gotta see this.
And that's
Just say it. Say what you want to say.
Well, I mean, hell, a lot of those kids that were hospitalized were of color, and it's possible. It's possible they could have had possessed the sickle cell trait. And if that's the case, Isaiah, in 2016, there was a case in the University of Oregon. A young man named Doug Brenner.
Out of time, but I got your point. All right.
I want to leave you with this thought. Sports are meant to push you to be better. To be the best, it feels like we're losing that edge, doesn't it? Today, everything is about equality and making sure everyone feels good enough. And while that is important in a lot of contexts, sports just isn't one of them. And sports is about being the best of the best, no matter your race, no matter your color. It does matter when it comes to sex.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Shorty better run. He not playing.
It's really about being the best of the best, the ones who can compete at the highest level. And that requires something different. A level of grit, resilience, and toughness that goes beyond what we're comfortable with. And clearly this football team doesn't have it.
Hey, coach, is there anything you want to change?
I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell out. Everybody's like, football's a team game. Okay, it's not a team game. Okay, I did my part. All right, I put in a great game plan. I mean, these players, they're horrible. My players are no good. I mean, everybody's like, no excuses. I got 22 excuses. 11 on my offense and 11 on my defense. Our offensive coordinator is terrible. He gets half of his plays off of Madden rookie mode. I mean, the guy is no good. In our offensive line, it's like Obama's immigration policy. Let everybody through.
And maybe I'm just being cruel and one of those old heads who's just like, toughen up, and y'all are just trying to make everyone feel like a winner, but that's not how excellence works. Best don't get by just playing it safe, by avoiding discomfort, by maybe pissing blood. They get there by embracing the grind, the struggle, the tough love. Sometimes even the things that feel unfair or cruel, those challenges, while difficult. Oh, we're out of time.
I got your point. All right.